Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're getting back into our Ebonclad campaign after a little bit of a hiatus, thanks to a busy August schedule and, of course, the annual Gen Con. So for those of us who are joining for the first time, or those of us who have bad memory, me, we'll do a quick recap here of what happened in our last session that occurred. So, your group was tasked with meeting your new Ebonclad handler, which you all met at the designated location, which was the Drag Inn, which is a guild-operated front disguised as a simple bar that is owned and operated by Cinderscard, which is a red dragonborn guild veteran who has recently turned to lead their own group and hand out assignments. You all met there and had some time to briefly meet and receive your first assignment, which was to track down some guild goods that en route to the city of Kintala were stolen by a new and quite brazen band of thieves operating on the outskirts of the city. So the lot of you went out. You met with a couple of travelers who peculiarly were hauling a strange amount and selection of goods into the city, and with some friendly banter, some investigation, you determined that they were bringing goods that were stolen into the city. It was there that you were attacked, besieged, if you were, by a pair of scoundrels, the pair of whom you quite readily dispatched, and from there you tracked them to a remote camp in the deeper woods of the wilderness surrounding the city. While there, your group managed to get ambushed by some further bandits. You located a secret cave, and you formulated and executed an ambush of your own, dispatched of most of the bandits that were holed up in the cave, and you also managed to take one of the bandits and their supposed, or presumably their captain, captive by rendering them unconscious. So from there, you entered the cave, started poking around, and we broke from there. So we return to our game with the group of you now inside of the cave of the bandits, where you have, at the very least, uncovered an assortment of boxes, barrels, crates, and other stolen goods, and you've even managed to temporarily distract and maybe even befriend the guards' faithful, I guess, watchdog. So from there, we enter onto the cave. It's a very small outcropping of rock. If we recall correctly, the mouth of the cave was about 15 to 20 feet wide, and it was tall enough for the lot of you to pass through without really too much issue. The cave itself goes on for maybe about 100-ish feet, and the cave itself is fairly dry, of all things. It gets some pretty good ventilation, so it's not too moist, not too damp. It's currently lit by a smoldering campfire. That's right. The bandits set up a small fire in the back corner of the cave, and there they have a set of tents, and it looks like some rudimentary furniture that they've fashioned out of split wood and logs to make a small table and some stools for, I don't know, passing out cards, maybe eating, who knows. But it looks like this has been a quick makeshift headquarters that the bandits had set up. The smoke from the campfire is filling the upper section of the cave, but fortunately for the bandits, since the ceiling was so high, it gave ample space for it to rise and then pass out through the mouth of the cave without suffocating the people that were inside of the cavern. But the air here is filled with the smell of campfire smoke, and we leave you all at that moment.
It stinks in here.
Clearly they were not
A little smoky, too.
experienced at campfire building.
I'm gonna go up to the fire and cast prestidigitation and snuff it out.
Oh, good
You do
call.
that. The campfire goes out without any issue, and you are now left with a stack of cut firewood with some scorch marks, and it looks like they were cooking a small stew over the campfire on a makeshift tripod.
Is there like
Anybody
a
want to
spoon
try
in
this?
it? If there's like a spoon in the pot, I'm gonna eat it. Try it, but
So you're eating the food.
yeah.
There is a small ladle in there. It's a rustic wooden spoon. The pot itself is a cast iron pot. It's suspended with a hook that's been lashed to the wooden tripod, and the stew, as you scoop it, is pretty thin. It's actually more of a soup, I guess, than a stew. But surprisingly, as you reach down in and scoop at the bottom, you hear the sound of the wooden spoon scraping against the cast iron bottom, and you have a small amount of the broth and some of the contents in that spoon. You take a taste of it. Make an intelligence, or
Okay.
make a wisdom check for me.
I thought you were gonna make me do a constitution save. Poison soup.
That comes later.
Wisdom, right?
You're now a cannibal. You just ate some elf.
I mean, I'm not an elf. 13.
Well, technically, cannibalism is any sentient creature.
You recognize this as rabbit. It's a hastily made rabbit stew. The broth is a little watery. There isn't too much flavor to it. Seems like they tried to season it with some of the local, or the fauna that may have, or flora that may have been nearby, but it didn't really make much of an effect on it. And also surprisingly, the stew seems to have been burnt. The soup has been burnt as well, so you get a very distinct taste of carbon as you take a brief sip on that.
Well, they can't fight, they can't steal, and they can't cook. These guys are useless.
Doesn't
Okay,
seem
they're
like they
dead.
had much going for them anyway.
I'm gonna wash it down with a swig from my flask, and then I'm just gonna plop down by the smoldering fire. Now what?
Double check and get those goods that we were sent after.
Really, they just wanted the location. It's not like it's our job to cart it all the way back to them.
They do have a cart, right? Wasn't there a wagon or something outside?
You're gonna look around for a cart?
Oh, I thought they had one. Like,
No. That was the guys we originally encountered before the ambush happened. They had a cart.
Correct.
right,
Oh, the guys on the
okay.
road. Okay.
There may be one kicking around. Who knows?
Can I look for one?
Sure can. Make an investigation check.
Okay. We'll make an investigation check. Nope.
Am I missing something?
8.
I got an 8.
Oh, spectacular.
Got off to a rip-roaring start.
So you're kind of looking around. You do find a cart, or at least a small contraption, and it doesn't look like it's going to really hold too much. So even though you find something that you can use, all right, cool. It might hold like a box. It's just a very, very small cart, probably used to haul in firewood. Or maybe even
So it's kind of like a wheelbarrow.
more or less, probably even
Okay.
used just for bringing in game that they might have hunted while they were out, or who knows what. But certainly isn't of much use to you. In fact, it also kind of stinks,
Mm.
really bad.
Could I search the bodies of our 2 captives to see if they have any distinguishing marks or jewelry or something that looks like it would be a symbol or something?
Could I look around the room for something like that too?
Yeah, Glinfir, go ahead and roll for that. Just make it a investigations. Perfect.
I mean,
So-
I'd rather perception. That as a bonus.
Yeah, roll perception for me.
Sweet. It's gonna be lower.
Not quite.
Dang.
You are looking at the unconscious bandits that you have in front of you. If we recall, the one is a surly-looking half-orc who is clad in poorly kept but still really sturdy armor. And the other one was just kind of a Weasley-looking human male who essentially tried to run and cower the instant he was met with any resistance. But they are obviously not really putting up any fight to being thoroughly investigated or searched for anything that you might run across. But as you're looking, you don't see any symbols or signs that you recognize. They are not part of any groups that the guild has come across in the past. But you do find a hastily looking symbol that seems to be carved into a small scrap of leather. that is in the back pocket of the half-orc. It looks like an arrow pointing upwards with two 2 points on it. So you've got your whoop, beep, boop. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Do
Boop.
that again.
Like that.
That's what I
Okay.
do. You can't see me.
I can't see that.
And that symbol is stamped into a piece of leather. But other than that, you don't find anything else on these gentlemen that you recognize. If you're looking around in the cave too, you don't find anything that matches that design. The cave itself doesn't really have much ornamentation on it at all, except for the crummy furniture and the tents that they had set up.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm guessing I don't recognize the symbol on the leather.
You don't know.
Okay. Gonna hold up the piece of leather and say, "Hey, I found this on the big fella over here. Do any of you know what this symbol means?"
Is it in Thieves' Camp? Yeah.
No. This isn't a symbol that you recognize as being like one of the common thieves' markings or any of the guild symbols that you typically recognize or see. This is just a completely wholly new symbol to you.
That
Nothing
looks.
I've seen before.
That looks like something I have absolutely seen before.
I describe it to our blind friend.
Oh no, never mind. I was wrong.
I pat him on his elbow because that's probably as high as I can reach.
I'm sitting on the floor, so.
Oh, then I pat him on the shoulder.
Right. Well, do we try to lug some of this back as proof we found the place, and then the big guys
First,
can get the rest? Or
We need to get some information out of these people about if they knew about the shipment beforehand and if they work for anyone else.
Couldn't we just give them the map?
couldn't we just give them these people? Drag them back.
Well, first of all, I don't think the guards would take too lightly with us dragging two tied-up individuals, no matter if they're bandits or not. Even if they believed our story of them being bandits, they would take them for themselves to be in prison. They wouldn't just let us drag them through the city.
We could bring them closer and then go into the city, leave someone guarding them. Perhaps at the way station?
That would probably work. Firstly, we should gather the scattered containers outside into the cave so they're at least out of the weather, and conceal
Alright.
the cave entrance again so no one else would wander through and notice it.
Good call.
I'm gonna start going outside to do that.
I'll join him.
Rexit will help.
Cool. Let's lift things and carry them. That's all.
Before we leave, I'm just going to double check the bindings, make sure they're secure, and triple check and make sure there's no secret blades or anything hidden amongst our captives so they can't escape.
Can... Sorry.
You're good. Hold that thought. You did a pretty good pat down when you did your perception earlier. You didn't find any other hidden weapons or like knives or anything on their person, so that's not a concern. And I believe, if I remember correctly, you guys had made a pretty good roll on tying them up, so I don't think that's going to be an issue either. But go ahead and make another check for me. Go ahead and do a dexterity check for me. Yeah, okay. You comb back over them, Glinfir, and you make sure that the knots are nice and secure, that the tension and the bite of the knots are good, and you seem to be pretty satisfied with your handiwork on that one. So they're pretty well tied up. Who had a thought?
Taya.
Me. Can I look around the room and look for any sort of like letter or orders or a name or just information in general around their camp?
Yeah, you go ahead and roll for me. Just an investigation.
Mess this up. Mess it up. Don't mess it up. It's a 12.
Cool. You find some tattered parchment paper sitting on the table. As you look around the room and kind of naturally gravitate towards the table, you see a crudely drawn map. Appears to be the location of this. It seems to be the city and some of the surrounding common roads that enter and exit through the northern gates and the western gates. And you also see a handful of numbers scribbled in the margins of the map, and a handful of arrows and other strange markings denoted on it. Go ahead and roll for me an intelligence check.
That's a 14.
Cool. So, as you're examining it, the numbers would seemingly look like a code, but considering these guys aren't cream of the crop, the code itself is just more or less the hours of the day broken into blocks, more or less. And the while you're investigating it and thinking about the numbers that you're seeing in the margins, you come to recognize the fact that these appear to be guard schedules for patrolling the roads that are denoted in the margins near each road that enters the city.
Do any of these crates have other organizations' marks on them? Like, we found a bunch that had Ebonclad marked on them, but are there government-marked crates or just things that might indicate that we're not the only people they've robbed recently?
There are some other crates and barrels that are scattered about that have various merchant symbols on them.
Okay.
Not really any particular organizations per se, but if you've been in the city for any time, you might recognize a couple of larger establishments. Some of the casks would have been going towards one of the breweries in the city, which you might probably recognize as you really eyeball them as you get in to examine them. And otherwise, it's just some basic markings, maybe things that small shops might have used, but...
Yeah. Based on how much is in here, I don't think we were a target. I think we were targeted by happenstance. I don't think they have any clue that this is Ebonclad stuff.
Did anyone take notes with respect to the chest that was in the room?
from
I have
last
notes
time?
that we found a bunch of vials.
Bunch
Were
of
those
gold
in a
vials of
chest?
stuff, nice gemstone, and some nice weapons.
Yeah,
Cool.
the gemstone.
If I remember right, I don't think we got the chest open.
No, you did.
We did, yeah.
We did.
That was everything that was in it, but we recognized the Ebonclad seal, so I think we closed it and we're like, okay, we're going to make sure this gets back to them.
Excellent.
How
Perfect.
big is the chest? Is it like a really big chest or like a smaller personal like chest?
It's probably about like 3 to 4 feet wide. It has some nice weapons in it, so it needs to be longer. They're all wrapped up, though, so as to
Probably
prevent too much wear on them.
I would also like to check the room and see if there's any money. Or like any like fancy, they're just like nice baubles or trinkets or anything.
I feel like we found lots of money last
Why?
time.
Did we?
Dude.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I
have
don't
the
remember.
note,
If
lots
we-
of gold.
But I put bunch of gold. But because it was guild gold, we didn't touch it. If that makes sense.
Okay, if that's the case, then never mind. Take it back.
Is there gold in any of the other crates and things that have seals that are different from the guild seal, though?
No, there is no gold in the crates or in the boxes. This is all goods or items.
Okay.
If there was any gold, it's been long confiscated and it is not on hand. And if we recall, the bandits that you have dispatched and looted all had next to nothing on them as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Broke. No wonder they're robbing places.
As you guys have stated, you wanted to start bringing some of the extra boxes back into the cave here. I would just like everyone who's given a hand to make a quick strength check.
Oh no. That's
Time for
bad.
hilarity to ensue.
Right. Like,
Oh, just everyone working like on the crates.
Aha! Natural 19.
It's gonna be good. 4.
I see we are not a strong party.
No. I'm a
I
dexterous
don't know,
party.
man. Oh, wait. I didn't do the thing.
So those of you who roll less than 10,
Uh-huh.
explain or describe why you just can't quite seem to move any of these boxes.
I mean,
to be
you're
fair,
small.
I'm like 3'6", so I probably can't get a good grip on it, and I'm like, and like just can't my arms aren't long enough to lift it off the ground without it hitting me in the chin, and it's really awkward.
Then you just have Rexit walking past you carrying them,
I-
no problem.
I was gonna say like a height excuse doesn't work really well when you're one of two.
I am going to attempt to lift it and go, oh, nope. Screw that. And I'm just gonna stop.
I feel like I try to pick it up,
Drunk.
and then the box has to have lots of little splinters of wood, and it just hurts my fingers.
Oh.
And I didn't like that very much.
I am too drunk.
And
for
then I
this.
kicked the box. Stupid box.
Yeah, stupid box.
Right?
I raise an eyebrow at my party members being unable to do some solid work and continue moving crates.
Oh.
Rude.
Truthful though.
Punishment you're giving us.
Rexit and Glinfir go about moving the boxes around you guys, apparently unfazed by the weight and or splinteriness of the wood as they go about it. And with the two of you, the work takes probably about an hour of back and forth hauling some of these boxes. Obviously, it would have gone just a little bit faster if you had been able to double your output, but
Just a tad.
what are you going to do? by the time you're done moving all of the crates into the cave, it's starting to become near dark in the woods here. Because if I remember correctly, it took you guys several hours to move through the city, several hours to move to checkpoint,
Get
and
to our
like
first
another
checkpoint,
hour
it was
more.
about 2.5 to 3 hours to get there.
Yeah,
And
so
the
that was
next
already,
checkpoint was around like an hour, hour and a half. So
Yeah.
in the woods, total travel time was about like 4 to 5 hours.
And we didn't get to the gate till like 4 p.m.
Yeah, so it's late.
That time.
Great job. So you wanted to cover up the cave as well. Anyone who's going to help try and cover up the cave, you can go ahead and just make a survival check.
Okay.
Can I use my like knowledge of disguising?
No!
Knowledge of disguising.
I told you, there goes my luck from
Yeah,
last game.
I'm like really
Goes
good
from
at
double 20s to double ones.
I'm really good at disguising people, and like I feel like that type of skill can be transferred a little bit to camouflage.
If
I'm
I
just
had any
picturing
spell
her putting
slots
makeup
left,
on
I
a
could.
cave.
Were there rules that natural ones like reverted one of your natural 20 successes for the expertise thing? I think I remember something like that.
To reset it.
I think it like removes one, so my survival's back to 0 now.
Oh.
So sad. At least it wasn't at 19.
Tough break. Juniper, you're the one who's looking for some magic disguise bonus.
And not like magical per se, like maybe just like adding a little paint to some of the rocks around it and like positioning them, like using my keen eye for like
Gonna pee
covering blemishes.
I'll give you a little bonus to what you rolled there. So you get plus two to that for knowing how to disguise things. Unfortunately for you, faces are infinitely different than 20-foot wide cave mouths, but the principle's the same.
As a resident blind party member, I am not going to even make an attempt to help with this. So yeah, I'm just gonna not help.
Good call.
Probably would just make it worse.
After a little bit of work, Juniper and Rexit busily and eagerly going about pulling all sorts of brush and working to pile up some sticks and rocks to work to hide the cave mouth. It's rudimentarily covered. Feel pretty good about it.
Looks great, guys.
Glinfir, you were trying to help, but
I'm actually just like not seeing them put the stuff there, and then when they turn away, just grabbing it and taking it away and like not replacing it.
just putting it somewhere else.
Putting it somewhere else where it doesn't work to disguise it.
But in the end, it's probably about as good as when you showed up. So congrats, you matched the skills of a bunch of inept bandits.
Woo! Level 1.
It looks real good, guys. You guys did great work. I can't see a difference
I
at
want
all.
I want the blind person to stop telling us how great our work looks, please.
Evan,
Okay.
darling.
I am nothing but blind jokes and booze, okay? You gotta give me
You're
this.
quite the entertainer, aren't you?
Well, they're all working because I have been useless for the last hour. I'm going to go sit by the tied up half orc. I'm gonna lean against him and take a nap. And take a short rest.
You're leaning on our captive. Take a short rest.
He's big and bulky. He'll make a good pillow.
With armor.
And he could just as easily bite your ear off or something.
Oh, well, I'm doing it. So may I get some spell slots back, please? Were they working long enough?
You
Hey,
leave-
Anders, or Evan, are you actually asleep? And I'm like tapping his shoulder repeatedly.
I take it back. I don't like you.
I'm hurt. I was actually going to ask if you wanted something to eat, because while they're doing that, maybe we could try and cook something.
Oh, I want to take a nap. Fine. I will help cook food then.
Oh wait, we put out the fire, didn't? Well, we don't want the fire got put out, didn't it?
I'll use
Fire in the
prestidigitation to make the fire come back on.
Oh my gosh, you're so magically talented. I was getting ready to like actually make the fire. That's so much easier. Okay. I pull out my rations and I don't know what I'm doing because I don't think. Yeah. So I attempt to cook.
So you pull out some salted meats from your rations
No.
to cook.
I already don't like it. I already don't like it. Don't make me roll for anything, please.
So, if we recall, there was also a small campfire that had been set up in the clearing out here outside of the cave. That I'm hoping we're using for cooking.
Sure.
As opposed to the one in the cave that you guys are currently disguising.
That's a good point. We'll do it outside. Good ventilation.
The question we have is, what equipment do you have to use to cook with?
None.
They have to. Can I look for like their pans? Since it looked like they had like a stew thing happening.
Make an investigation check for me.
Oh my god! I got a 9.
First with the low rolls.
It's
So,
literally a curse. I roll 20 hates me.
Describe your examining skills.
Well, I have one eye.
Doing better than me.
It's getting. And it's getting dark out. And apparently I just can't see.
Well, Evan, you're obviously disturbed from your attempt at a nap, and the person who interrupted you to try and cook didn't even have the tools, and you see them trying to find something to cook with, and apparently failing desperately. Anything to work with. And this is your life right now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I thought I would be able to find things, but I can't see anything in here. It's really dark.
I'm gonna go back in the cave they're kind of disguising and kind of like weave through them so I don't mess it up too much, and get that pot of really bad stew and the ladle. I'm gonna bring it back outside and put it on the outside fire. And then can I hear any small critters or anything that I can shoot with my crossbow to add meat to the fire, to the like soup, so it becomes more like a stew?
Survival check.
Oh.
Can I help him?
Oh. I'm listening because it's dark. Do I get advantage because I'm good at listening?
With a little assistance from your friend, yeah, go ahead and roll survival with an advantage.
That's a 14.
Okay. What do you find?
I want to see if I can hear, like, sounds like maybe a rabbit in the bushes or just something small and easily skinnable. Be thrown into a pot.
You hear...
You found a cat.
No, not a cat.
Not a cat.
You hear something small and skittery shuffling through the woods on the outskirts of the clearing.
I shoot
And
it.
no cat. No cat. No.
Every time.
And apparently you just loose a shot with your hand crossbow into the brush there. Come on, cat. If you're gonna scream, you can at least jump up. Into the brush, and you hear a small squeak as whatever you shot at hit true, and you work your way over there, and you pull out a possum.
Dinner. I got dinner. I'll bring it back and use my little dagger to skin it and cut off some chunks of meat to put into the stew to make it a little more hearty, a little more food-like for everyone.
By the time you're done skinning, chunking, and cooking what you've found, the rest of your team has finished hastily hiding the entrance of the cave, and you all convene on the campfire to a pot of possum stew.
I made dinner. You don't all have to thank me at once.
I open up my rations and start eating from them.
I mean, that's probably a good call, but it's still kind of rude.
Rexit will eat his share and just go, gimme, gimme.
Can I look at it and see if I know what animal he put into it?
You could make a quick wisdom check, or you could ask.
What did you put into this, Evan, dear?
Furry rodent. I mean, I don't know what it looked like, but it had fur.
Right. Rodent, you say?
Marsupial. I don't actually know.
It smells lovely.
I think Evan would know the word marsupial.
I'm not that hungry at the moment, so I think I'll pass.
That's fair.
Taya feels really bad that she woke up Evan, so she will eat the soup stew thing.
I mean, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm gonna just sit and drink. But I appreciate, thanks for humoring me. Never said I was a cook.
The only one. Okay. That's fine.
No, Rexit
Can I
ate it.
Yeah,
Rexit can have everyone else's shares.
I mean, this is probably like a feast to him. He's like, ooh, possum.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, wait, no. Your hat's not with us anymore. I forgot.
My hat is a raccoon.
Yeah, you left it at the first place we stopped at. In the wheelbarrow.
Yes, I do believe it is hiding in a cart or wagon somewhere.
Do raccoons eat possum?
I imagine they don't get along at the very least.
Raccoons eat possum. What doesn't a raccoon eat?
Good point.
Other raccoons, I hope.
Oh, goodness. The DM is rolling, by the way.
Everyone-
The rest of us.
Everyone make a perception check.
Is this a visual perception check or a listening
It is
perception check?
a perception check based on your
Hey, nice.
your hearing.
My hearing, so I get advantage.
Oh
Hey.
my god! I can't! I'm so stressed, y'all.
Oh, poor Taya.
What is happening?
Hey, I
Well-
got the double nat ones earlier, so
The
it's
soup
not
was
just you.
It was that bad, Taya. That was just stick to yourself.
Apparently, whatever's going on, Taya's distracting Juniper. So please, one of you or both of you, tell me how you're both distracted at the same time.
I'm just like watching her eat and like kind of wincing a little bit, like, ooh, like you're really gonna eat that too?
I take one bite and immediately regret it. And I'm not feeling very good even after just like one bite.
I go over and like kind of gesture for her to lean over a little bit, and I pull her hair back.
Aw.
Just in case, you know, you can't help it with these things sometimes.
That's obvious, huh?
I mean,
Ugh.
rodents too in the middle of a forest.
I woke him up from a nap and I felt really bad, and in hindsight it was a bad idea, but I did it anyway, so.
Too kind-hearted, huh?
I guess so.
Not a bad trait, I suppose.
There is worse. Could be worse.
Much worse.
The lot of you who passed your perception checks all hear the sound of another critter trundling up through the woods as well. And right at the edge of the clearing, you see the hat come moseying its way into the clearing with you.
I point my crossbow at it. Should I make another stew? Would that help?
Rexit will jump in front of the crossbow and be like, "Don't shoot my hat!"
That's a raccoon. That's not a hat.
And then the raccoon will just scurry up Rexit's back and settle onto his head like a hat.
Okay.
It holds its paws out and reaches in your receptacle where your food is and starts feeling what you have in there and starts eating at it at the same time.
And Rexit pays no mind to the raccoon eating on top of his head.
My, that's an interesting companion you have there.
Was your hat always a raccoon?
It has been for the past 2 years?
How did
How
I
did
not
you
notice
find
that?
Did Taya know
Very
that?
Quiet raccoon.
Or no?
Up to you whether you want her to have known that or not.
I feel like I should have noticed that.
I feel
I was
like
going to say some of the perception rolls you've had. I think being that oblivious would be really hilarious.
Oh my god.
I think
I mean, you're not wrong. I probably didn't even notice. You know, in hindsight, I also probably should have known that, but I'm just gonna say that I'm half blind, so it's fine.
Yeah.
We have a really perceptive group.
Quietly eating my rations, staring at your hat for a bit, then I shrug, go back to looking at the surrounding forest.
After eating some of the food and kind of kicking around for a little bit. The captives start to stir.
Oh yeah, we didn't gag them.
Half orc. You got a name?
Yeah. What? Where am I?
We beat you up and tied you up. Do you have a name?
What?
I feel weird calling you half orc.
He braces against his bonds and tries to break out of them.
I smack the side of his head with my short sword. Not the edge side, just like the flat of the blade.
Yeah.
Enough of that.
What? Who are you? Who are you guys? How did you find me?
Luck.
Some of your friends tried to kill us, and we did not take kindly to that.
Also, you, don't leave paper maps lying around.
Wait a minute. He looks over. And sees the one guy sitting next to him. Are you serious? Really? You saved that guy? God. Bill, you're the worst.
Bill.
Darling, you're all the worst. You're terrible at everything you do.
I really do think you need to find a new job. I don't think this one's working out very good for you.
No.
Yeah. I still don't know your name. I'm gonna not sleep tonight if I don't know your name. That one's Bill. Who are you?
I ain't telling you nothing.
Please. I'll tell you my name.
I tap him on the side of the head again with my sword.
Nice and tough when you got your captive tied up, huh?
I mean, we
Considering we beat you into submission before we tied you up, yes.
Yeah.
We're pretty badass.
Yeah.
I don't got nothing to say to you folk.
Alright, then I'm gonna call you, Bill 2. So, Bill 1, Bill 2. You guys can share names, you and your friend, because you won't give me yours.
The guy named Bill stirs as well after some of the commotion, and he looks over at the half-orc tied up, and he looks at the rest of you, and his eyes go wide as saucer plates, and he starts to snivel a little bit. What?
Are you serious right now?
What's going on?
Do I believe his snivels?
Oh, they're the sniveliest.
Can I insight check him?
Can I also?
You sure can. You sure all can if you really want to.
No.
He is a complete coward.
Yeah.
And you think he may have just relieved himself.
You just had to go and do that.
Darling, that's not appealing at all.
Please just let me go.
So,
Please
you're
let me-
part of a group of bandits. But you're terrified? Were you forced to join? Like, what's the story there?
The half-orc starts to laugh. Bill's just the worst. Aren't you,
Hey!
Bill?
Bill 2. Shut it. We're talking to Bill 1. continue. Tiefling friend. Watching the bill, too.
Well, go on. Why are you here? Why are you a bandit if you're so afraid?
It's just easy jobs. It wasn't supposed to go like this. Please, just let me go. I'll just vanish into the woods. You won't have to worry about me. Please.
You know, we would, but you stole from our guild and they're not very forgiving.
Yeah, our guild of, tapestry makers. Our super secret guild of tapestry makers. That you stole from.
Tapestries? What's a tapestry? I'm sorry, was it the walking sticks that we lifted the other day?
It's better you don't
Is
know.
that a tapestry?
You
Tapestries are a dangerous business.
Indeed.
Captain, you didn't say anything about tapestries.
With this pathetic display, I quirk my head to the side, and I ask him in a low tone of voice, "Do you have anything useful to give us?"
Make an... Oh, sorry. My ankle. Make a... Let's see. Persuasion check on him.
Well, anything with charisma is a -1, so here goes nothing.
Can you have advantage?
Yeah.
We're all there helping.
I don't think he's going to need too much of it because this guy is terrified, so it should be pretty easy work with him. What do you want? I'll do anything. Just let me go, please. What do you want? What can I give you? Please, just let me go.
Where did you intercept this caravan?
We hit a whole bunch of stuff. This is like the whole week's worth of ransacking.
Where was the most recent one you intercepted?
We got one a couple miles up the road from the city just a handful of days ago. We were laying low, getting ready for our next hit. As he's talking, the orc kicks him.
After the orc kicks him, I smack him on the head with my sword a little bit harder, and keep looking at Bill.
Filthy traitor.
I look at him some more. I say, I'm going to stand you up. I'm going to walk you to the crates, and you're going to point out the ones you took from that caravan.
Okay, are you going to let me go afterwards?
Depends on if
Maybe.
you point them out correctly.
All right.
And I cut his hands free so he can point them correctly, but his legs are still tied up.
I train my crossbow. Sorry, I forgot what I had. Short bow. I trained my short bow on him.
So you untie him and you untie his hands, not
Yes.
his feet.
Not his feet. And I'd say you can hop there.
Wait. I pull out my flask and I give it to Bill number 1. Here. Yep. Drink.
He takes a swig of it and he starts coughing. Oh, that tastes terrible. What do you have in there?
Poison.
It's like 20 things at this point. I don't keep track. It's never. So, anyway,
It's poison.
At this point.
Who's telling him it's poison?
Junie.
Make a deception check.
I'm an expert in that.
Oh my god!
I did not even. Oh, hey.
Oops.
He starts.
You wrecked him.
He starts spitting out like everything after he hears you say poison. He's like, "Poison? You just poisoned me? What's gonna?"
Yeah.
I
He
swear to
starts
God,
dry
if he
heaving
faints,
and trying to
power
throw
move.
up.
I'm gonna.
I
drink.
slap him along the front of his face and say, "Calm down."
Power move. I'm gonna take a huge, very long swig. Just. Yeah.
So it's not poison?
No, it is. I'm just really, really cool.
Ignore them. You're pointing out crates right now.
The half-orc just starts laughing.
Be quiet, Bill number 2. I don't like you. I will kill you. Hush.
So I'm going to pause and turn around and gag him at this point.
Okay, you do that. He's tied up. He's not really making too much of a fuss. After securing it, he starts grunting at you, and you can tell he's probably making some obscene, speaking some obscene phrases at you through the gag.
Shame I don't know Orcish.
Okay. The bandit, on the other hand, that you have tied up, is trying to hop his way back into the cave, and he keeps falling over. Like, he's not even really able to get more than, like, a hop or two before he just can't get back up.
I walk over to him and, like, grab him by the back of the neck and help him up and say, "Okay, time for you to point out some crates."
He starts hopping again. He falls over again, just completely unable to keep steady footing in the dark, in the woods, thinking he's been poisoned, and just being completely terrified. He trips over himself and rolls over on his back on the ground, and he starts coughing and crying.
I go to him and, like, lift him up by the chin and say, "Darling, I could give you an antidote, but I only share that with people who do what I want them to do."
I can't walk.
You can hop. And I push him again.
Nothing is impossible.
Never say never.
He takes...
I like him.
I think you just don't want to.
No, I want to live. Please. Please.
Sure.
He starts hopping slowly, very slowly, but he doesn't fall over again because he's not in such a rush. Eventually, he hobbles his way into the cave, and he hobbles to the pile of crates and barrels and stuff, and he begins kind of combing through things, taking a look at all the stuff stacked up in the corner there, and he points out the treasure chest and a handful of other boxes, and says, these were in the last shipment we hit. I don't know if there's anything missing. We gave a whole bunch of stuff to a bunch of yokels to take into the city for us.
To take into the city where?
I don't know that. I just knew that they were going to bring them in and drop them off to somebody.
I stare at him.
I flash my fangs and pointy teeth at him and I say, do you have any names? I'm smiling.
You're smiling at him?
Yeah, with my pointy teeth. Fangs.
Tieflings.
Are you trying to intimidate or charm him?
Intimidate.
Okay, go for a roll on that.
Oh no. 19!
Yeah.
Yay!
My first good roll of the night!
Good job.
Seeing your fiendish smile, coupled with your horns and your missing eyeball, he kind of arcs back when you ask him. He says, "If I knew, I'd tell you, but I really don't. The boss did that, and Derek, you know, where is Derek, anyways?"
Derek's dead.
"Oh, Derek knew. I don't know. I swear."
I hold up my water skin like, are you sure you don't know?
"Yes, I'm sure."
Insight check
Pitiful
that.
tears start streaming down.
Just to be certain, in case he's an amazing actor.
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh.
Either he's the best actor in the world, or this is just the most cowardly man you have ever met in your life. You're pretty sure it's the latter.
At this point, like, he's pretty much told us everything he knows, right?
Yeah.
Presumably.
Seems like it.
I look at him some more, and I say, "Oh, too bad she mentioned the guild. And you guys can try and stop me while I'm doing this, but I
Nope.
proceed to slide my short sword into his heart."
Oh. No, please, don't let me go, no! Stab. Just roll damage for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Those secret tapestries gotta stay secret.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I couldn't really do the damage direct yet, so.
Yeah, he is, you slide that straight through, and it's instantaneous. There's no suffering to it at all. He's just like, his eyes roll back, and no more sputtering, no more crying or anything. He's just a sad, miserable corpse. We're gonna take a quick, 5-minute break. Are you guys good with 5?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I-
Okay, we'll take 5, and we'll reconvene.
Okay.
All right, so Bill's sad body flops limply off of your short sword as you drive it through his heart.
Yeah, I clean up the blade and sheath it, and ask everyone who's with me to help me move the stuff he pointed out into one location. So we have like that main shipment grouped up.
Because
Then
we all
I'm gonna
saw how good I am at carrying things earlier.
drag his body back outside the cave.
As you pull him, he leaves a smear of blood in the dust of the cave, which
It's totally fine.
quickly coagulates as you just drag him through. The rest of you are able to work on the boxes.
I don't help. I'm not.
Rexit draws a smiley face in the blood before it dries.
Spooky. I would like, just for the hell of it, anyone who's helping to do another strength check, because that's the way we're doing that.
I'm gonna try to help even though my strength is not good.
I was gonna say, can I help
Hey,
like,
not
half-heartedly
20
because I
again.
know that I'm not strong enough to do things?
Natural 20!
Not for me. I'm happy for you.
Nice.
Can I like
Brave the
intentionally give
splinters
myself
this time.
disadvantage because I know that I'm not gonna do well? Oh,
I mean, it doesn't matter. Your dice speak for you there.
Well,
Oh, you made a strength saving.
oh, whoops.
But
I mean,
So,
isn't it
the
different?
It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
it's probably the same thing for you.
Oh, even better. Even better.
Oh my god.
Terrific. Well,
yeah, I like kind of like tap it with my hand, and I'm like, that looks heavy, and then I go and like sit over by Evan.
again, looks like Rexit's doing a lot of heavy lifting, and Taya, it looks like you managed to find some boxes that aren't splintery to carry around. And you separate those boxes and the treasure chest that Bill had indicated before his unfortunate grisly death. And they are stacked up in probably about 10 to 15 minutes of some quick back and forth. Glinfir, what are you doing with the body?
I am dragging Bill's corpse with me to stand in front of Bill number 2.
I also want to go stand by Bill number 2.
And I crouch down in front of the half-orc with Bill's corpse propped up next to me, and I look at him for a little bit before I speak.
You've been promoted. You get to be Bill number 1 now. Congratulations.
He, his eyes look to his newly deceased companion, and you can swear you see him smirking from under the gag.
So I stare at him and I say, Bill here cooperated. Both of you crossed the wrong people, and you're not going to be getting out of that in one piece. So you have a choice. You can either make this painless and cooperate like Bill here, or you can make this a longer ordeal and have it not be as pleasant.
Yeah, I chopped a finger off a lady like a week ago, and I'd be happy to do it again.
And I let go of Bill's corpse so it can collapse on the ground. I'm gonna ungag you now. Choose your next words carefully. Then I reach over to start ungagging him.
I'm having a very hard time playing some intimidation right now. I apologize.
Other Bill, newly promoted Bill, looks up at you, looks to Glinfir, looks to Evan, looks at the body. He was the worst bandit. Oh, man.
I mean, that much was obvious.
What do you want to know?
Who are the crates going to? In the city. Who are you bringing them to?
Crates is ours.
Try again. Who were the crates going to?
The crates is ours.
Who?
Going to cut
Then
off
who's
a
your
finger.
leader?
Want to cut off a finger. That'd be my new
I
thing.
put my hand on Evan's shoulder. I just like pat him on the shoulder to say to wait a bit.
Fine.
I think you're.
I was gonna make one of those like necklaces, fingers. Put up my street cred. Evan, the finger.
I'm just picturing you with like a thing of hedge clippers, just hedge clipping fingers as you go around.
Yeah.
Why don't we rephrase? Who were you sending the goods to?
You want to know who I was sending goods to? Oh,
Stolen goods?
yeah, okay. I see what you're getting at here. He must have sent you then, huh? Figured he'd rough us up, see if I'd rat him out.
As he says that, I take out one of the darts that I have, and I grab his bound up hands, and I slowly push the dart into his left hand.
How come you get to push darts into him and I don't get to cut off?
A, you don't see me doing this, you are blind. B,
cut
back
off
to
a
what I was
finger.
doing. And I say to him,
Boom!
don't be coy, answer the question.
It's one of the guards! Ugh. We were giving him a cut of the take.
Which guard was it, darling?
He said his name was Kraglin.
That's a good name. That's a good name. Brad. I like that name. I'm gonna steal that name. Yeah. Good name.
Were
Sorry.
you sending him all of your shipments?
No,
Or
just
getting a cut from all of the shipments, or just this one in particular?
we had a deal. He gave us the schedule of the patrols, and we'd give him a small portion of what we got. That's it. I swear, it was just supposed to be easy banditing.
And where did you meet this Kraglin?
There was this bar. There's this bar he frequents. It's in the city.
There's a lot
yeah.
of bars in the city. Which one?
I would send Derek a lot to meet him. It was a bar in Northwest District. It was the Half Pint Rose.
Half pint?
Half Pint Rose.
Oh, yeah, I know that place. They have a real good, like, if you like bitter and fruity ale, yeah, they've got a good one there.
We were gonna meet with him
We're gonna lose. We don't have it.
tonight, actually, to give him our latest cut. But obviously, he snarls, that's not gonna happen.
When he says that, I grind the dart in his hand a little bit.
He yelps.
How come-
Are you sure that's everything, darling? Everything.
What else do you people want? You killed my men, you taken my stuff, and now you're driving me with a dart.
Who's driving? Are you? I was gonna cut off a finger, and you stopped me, and now you get to. I'm gonna turn around and walk away because I'm annoyed.
Next time, darling. Next time.
Okay.
He looks over his shoulder at you and says, "Well, fine. Are you gonna do it or not?"
Okay. I'm going to gag him again.
From front or behind? Like, are you gonna gag him from in front of him or from behind him?
I'm gonna start gagging him from in front of him and say, "You're cooperating so far, so we'll cease injuring you.
For now.
Don't push it."
He spits at you.
Into the gag.
Right before you manage to get it in his mouth, he spits at you.
Give me 1 second. Let me do a quick roll. Okay. I remove the dart from his hand. Then I turn around and look at the group. So we got as much information as we're probably going to get from him ourselves. I say we bring him to the checkpoint, along with the map to the location of the goods here, and report in.
Fine by me.
I think that sounds good.
I'll stay behind and watch over him, as well as holding the map.
I want to meet Kraglin. I say we go to the Rose, not just because they have good booze, but because, it makes sense, and we meet Kraglin.
We need to be there by tonight. It's already too late for that. We would be there in 4 hours, maybe 5. The city guard's not going to let us in that late.
I would like to point out, our job was to find the goods, and that was all they specified.
Exactly. We should leave the figuring out of why the goods were taken to people who are better than that at us. For now, we just need to complete our job.
I did not say anything about figuring out the why. I want to meet him. He sounds like a cool guy. He's got a cool name. I want to be his friend.
Interesting.
Until...
Want to be his friend, does that mean you're going to take a finger from him, though?
I mean, it could eventually mean that. It could also mean other things. Friends are good for multiple purposes.
That is true.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay. Take this guy to the checkpoint, and the rest of us go check in with Cinder's guard. Tell him what we found.
Lovely.
Sounds good.
Shall we?
Hey,
We shall.
Rexit.
Rexit chirps up.
You cool with this?
He gives you a thumbs up and continue eating the leftover stew.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just had to double check. Alright.
Can I retcon something really fast?
Maybe.
A little. Okay. Instead of being like, oh, it's too heavy when the boxes were, being moved around, could I just have been like, oh, wow, Taya, you're so strong. And that's it.
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
So swoony.
Retcon. Bad flirting. Hey.
All right, so you are gonna head back to the checkpoint. How you walking?
We're gonna weekend at Bernie's this guy.
I suppose I should specify. What's your marching order?
Oh.
Less exciting.
I would be up front leading the way since I led the way here.
Hey, Taya, come here. I'm gonna.
And then I have like 2 people frog marching the orc.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one of the orc's arms, put it. Well, he's tied up, and I don't want to untie his arm, so I'm gonna kind of hook one arm sort of under his, not to disturb the bounds, and get one side of him. You get the other side.
Got it.
Rexit will take Talon.
Yeah,
Juniper, where are you
Rexit,
gonna?
You're gonna be doing all the lifting there, right? Because I'm weak.
I will certainly do my best. It seems to be hit or miss.
Okay. You begin walking your way through the woods.
I would assume we're going. I mean, first of all, let's get a head count. Who here doesn't need torches to see right now?
Me! I can't see, period!
Besides you, Evan, thank you for the comments.
Rexit has dark vision.
I have dark vision.
I do not.
Okay, so I need 1 torch then at least.
Do I have that spell?
I light a torch and give it to Juniper to carry in one hand.
Why, thank you, darling. And I link my arm with Evan.
I have a body that I'm trying to carry. So unless you're on the other side and we're like a chain of Taya, body, Evan, Juniper.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, we also are doing a step jump hop.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a good look. I'm gonna. We go back to the checkpoint.
You do. In fact, there's no issue with your traveling. You're able to backtrack without any problem, and you do eventually make it back to the checkpoint there. If you recall, there was the lean-to, there was the cart, and you had left there originally with 2 men, just kind of hanging out.
Oh yeah, we made friends. Are they still there?
No, they're gone.
Okay.
And so is the cart.
Cart's still there? Yeah. Saw that coming. We messed that one up. Alright. I'm gonna shove bill number previously 2, now bill number 1, like into the lean-to. Just shove him down onto the ground. There. Sleep tight.
Is there any kind of structure within the lean-to I could tie him to that's reasonably strong looking?
There is a strut and support that you might be able to do that. He would probably be forced to be standing the whole time.
That's fine by me.
Or at least half standing, as it were. So you can certainly fashion a rudimentary securing knot there to keep him from moving around too much.
Okay, I do so then.
The lean-to faces the road, if you recall. It is situated in a small clearing, snugly between the trees on all sides. The road itself is a good pace from the lean-to, probably about 15 feet or so. And by the time you guys reach here, it is dark, and by our estimations, it is probably close to 9:30-ish, I think, somewhere around there. It's late, getting late. Of course, there's just a cat butt in the camera.
Sorry.
The cart has been moved off. You can see the tracks from the wheels as they are pulled back onto the main road, and they head back towards the city.
Alright, so Stabby. I can't remember your name. I am
Glinfir.
Yeah, that. You gonna stay with them and the rest of us go to town, or I don't know, should we all sleep for the night?
I would say time is of the essence. If the guard realizes that his group's not meeting him at their designated time like they normally do, he's going to go to ground. So you guys should report in as quickly as possible so the guild can try and secure him.
I agree
Sounds
with
good.
that.
And you're sure you'll be alright here, darling? By yourself?
I've been in the woods for a long time. I should be fine.
Wonderful. Then we'll carry on.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts for Glinfir before you leave him behind?
You make it sound like you're having them write a eulogy for me.
Glenfir's gonna die right there in that lean-to.
Rexit will take up a post outside with Glenford as well. I mean, he camouflages as a green goblin at night anyway.
You're not coming with.
You don't need me to report in.
Yeah, but town equals food and like booze and stuff. If I kind of thought that was maybe your thing.
I'm stuffed. I ate that entire, like, half that pot of possum stew.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, by the way. It made me feel good.
Cool.
Alright, so me and Short One and Tiefling friend are going back to town? Yeah, that's good.
Looks like it.
Juniper.
Alright, ladies.
Okay.
And we head to the half pint rose.
All right. So
I thought you were heading to the Dragon Inn.
Dragon Inn.
Dragon,
Blood.
sorry.
We drag in. We're gonna report in to Cinder's Guard.
the group of you, the three of you, are walking along the road there. You can see it's the Cherry Way. So pleasant.
Oh, we're all gonna die on it. Sorry, cat.
I would like the three of you to make a perception check.
Yeah, okay. Sight or no?
It would be a combination. So yeah, you can roll normally.
Okay, I'll just.
Hey.
There you go.
I waiting for one more?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Where did it go?
Okay.
Nope.
Ooh, all right. Cool.
My luck ran out. That's horrible! Everything's horrible.
Okay. So, the group of you are traveling along the road. You're making good time on the well-worn and main path there. And as you're walking, cool, the group of you, except for Taya for some reason, so Evan, you hear the distinct sound after about like an hour and some change of walking. Evan, you hear the distinct sound of like
You're cutting out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
mail,
What was it? Pain mail.
a small patrol of guards. They seem to be making rounds later into the evening.
I reach my hand out towards Juniper. Hand.
I grab his hand.
You are now my daughter. Okay, let's go. And keep walking forward.
Can I, like, quick disguise myself to look a little bit younger? Like, try
How
to
would
hide
you do that?
like try to hide my daggers and like move my scarf and like tie it as a bow in my hair instead.
Cool. Yeah, make a quick make a check for the disguise.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
As you're walking by, the guards obviously they notice you passing by on the road, and the head of the guard is a tall man. He just holds out his hand real quick, and he is leading a small group of other guards from atop horseback, and he says, "Ho there! And at what hour do we have travelers here?"
I like partially hide behind Evan's leg, still holding onto his arm.
It's okay, sweetheart. Yeah, we are just making our way to the city. Got a little held up back there. We lost our shoe, and you know how kids are. Couldn't leave without it. So, we're a little later than we'd prefer to be, but gonna be home soon, so that's good. How are you this evening?
Vigilant. We're on patrol. I'd like you to make a deception check for me.
Okay.
I'm tired, Papa.
I know, but if we had left your shoe there, we would have been home sooner, honey. You need to learn there's consequences to your actions. 13.
13, huh?
Oh no.
Everything looks like
so
a kid.
much. I'm so stressed.
Can he have advantage? Oh my god.
Well, the guards are thoroughly convinced at this point. But yes, well, I know how traveling with children can be.
Yeah. So you
Difficult.
gotta pack road snacks and games to entertain them, and
Yes, absolutely, yes. Devilish little pixies they are. Well.
But we love them so much.
Sorry, that got me.
It's too real.
I stick my free hand where I use my thumb. I suck on my thumb on the other hand.
Stop that. We talked about that. That'll mess your teeth up.
But Papa.
He does stop and stare at Taya, however.
I would not
And-
notice.
I just nonchalantly tried to walk by, minding my own business. I don't know them. Just
Hey, you there! You there!
yes.
He reins the horse back as you try and pass by. What are you doing traveling this late at night? He
This is
turns
my
back-
wife.
Yes, sorry, we're together. I assumed that everything was taken care of here. Do you have any other questions?
He examines you, scrutinizing your face really closely.
Excuse me. I would appreciate if you didn't, stare at my wife.
I back up and I link my arm through, my arm around Evan.
Well, sorry, it's just not every day we see someone like that passing through. You can understand. I have my job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lot of you, of course. Please be on your way. They should let you by through the main gates. Just safe travels. There's bandits that lurk about these woods.
Yeah. Thanks for your good service. Looking out for us.
He raises his mailed gauntlet, and he can't snap his fingers, I realize, so he gives a quick clap with the gloves, and he keeps riding, and the small collection of guards follow slowly behind him as they continue down the path.
Before he leaves, when he's like behind us so he can't see me do it, I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation on like the top of his armor so it
Don't do it.
smells like skunk. Like he just like walked past a skunk and now he's gonna have that smell on him.
See, at least you're thankful that Rexit stayed behind, because that would have just made this father-daughter going for a walk conversation way worse as like, and this is my pet goblin.
Evan, make a quick stealth check.
I mean, I waited till he was not looking and he was down that way a little bit, like the edge
Make it
of my
with
range.
advantage.
Okay.
Yeah. You cast it, and you notice him stop and sniff. Ugh, something died out here in the woods, and they just keep walking.
Well, he was a ball of delight.
I love racism.
He's an a-hole is what he is. And if we weren't on a mission, I would have put an arrow through his throat. Alright, let's go. Family.
The rest of the trip is without any further incident. Of course, you have plenty of time to talk along the way if you choose, but you'll be able to reach the gate without any problem.
Just briefly, as we're walking to Taya, I'm just gonna... Hey, you are, like, musically inclined, right? Or, like, flexible? That sounds really... that doesn't come out the way... I'm sorry. I'm too drunk for this conversation.
No, I'm thoroughly amused. I'm not very musically inclined. I'm more of a dancer myself.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. We should, like, when this is done, plan just some, like, predetermined distractions and, like, I feel like our skill sets are going to be really compatible, and we should spend some time figuring out how to, like, work together well.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Okay, good, because I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually saying anything of note at this point. I feel like I'm kind of speaking in circles a little bit.
That's okay. It's pretty late.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Also, I, like, downed my entire flask as a power move for that one guy that we killed anyway, so there's that.
So should Juniper and I be carrying you?
No, we're fine. I am used to this.
Well, if either of you decide to host a show at some point, I would be happy to attend.
Oh, yeah, free tickets. I'll get, no, don't.
I'll make sure to put on an extra special show.
Oh. Don't I feel like a VIP?
Okay, this just got weird.
Doesn't have to be weird, darling.
Nope, third wheeling it out. Goodbye. And I'm gonna, like, pick up the face just a little bit.
Oh my god.
You approach the outer gate. There's another small established guard post here. Just a handful of them. Looks like a new set of guards from when you passed through earlier this afternoon. Obviously a shift in the staff, as it were. And they give you a couple of quick questions. Where are you going? Where you been? What business do you have? But really, they wave you through. Move on. Move along. You can find some places to stay just down the street. You can't miss them. And they let you go straight into the city.
Thank you so much for your service. To the dragon. Onward march.
Onward march.
It's like nighttime, right?
Yeah, it's late. It is dark. It is quite late at this point. You traveled for at least another 2 hours, so it's probably closing in on midnight. As you're walking through the streets, you do eventually, actually fairly quickly, you stumble into a man who he seems lost, kind of standing in the middle of the street, kind of slack-jawed, looking around, muttering to himself, where do I go? But he doesn't seem to be bothering much of anyone.
I've been there.
Can I tell if it seems like he's just drunk or if there's something else going on?
Yeah. Make an insight check.
Oh, I'm so scared. Okay.
Oh no!
No.
Ah!
You have no idea what this guy's up to.
I don't know anything.
I'd like to just go up to him and link arms with him.
You're gonna have to reach up for that, because he's taller than you.
That's fine.
He looks down at you when you grab him, and he's startled. He's like, "What? What? Can I help you?"
Well, it seems like you're the one who needs the help, darling. Are you lost?
He looks embarrassed. Oh, does it show? I'm trying to find a place to stay, but I don't know my way around so well.
I see. New to the city, then.
Yeah, I guess so. And
It's a yes or no question, of course.
sorry, I don't normally talk to people who randomly link arms with me in the street.
Do people randomly link arms with you in the street often?
This would be the first time.
Well, then I suppose it's your lucky night. And I kind of point him off in the direction of what I think might be a tavern.
Okay.
Why don't you head that direction? Maybe you'll get lucky.
I guess so. Better than just standing around in the street, I guess. Thank you. And he
Better than
just
getting
starts
caught by the guard.
walking away.
Short one.
Juniper.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I was feeling generous, I suppose.
But did what you do actually help him? Because now he's just the same amount of lost, but over there. And I'm pointing in absolutely not the direction he went, because I have no idea where he went. I'm pointing in a direction.
You have a purpose?
Okay. Yeah, remind me not to ask you to help me with anything.
You wouldn't want my help, darling.
I don't know if you understand the definition of the word help.
It depends on your perception.
I have no idea what in the world that means. I'm gonna keep walking toward the dragon.
I'm gonna wink at him, and then I'm gonna remember that he can't see it, and I'm gonna say wink.
Grimace.
You make it to the establishment. The familiar sign is there, the stylized wooden sign with a dragon on the exterior, with the words lazily carved into it, "Drag in." The door is closed at this point, and it doesn't seem like you hear anything coming from inside. But there are lights that you can see through the windows.
Is the door locked? I'm gonna grab the handle.
The door opens.
Okay, I'm gonna go inside.
I will follow.
I also follow.
Walking in, you see that there is no one here at this hour. Except, of course, Cinderscard, who is just kind of sitting in one of the booths in the corner, his legs propped up on the table, with his hulking red frame kind of bathed in the light of the sconces in the fireplace as he sees you come walking through the door. Ah, well, you're back later than I expected.
Yup.
Rough day. Rough day.
I'm gonna go sit in the booth across from him and just kind of like half lay down in the seat and close my eyes.
We did come back. That should count for something, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it does. But, he kind of looks... I'm not the best at math, but it looks like you came back a little short-handed.
Yeah, they're dead.
Well, you kind of expect it in this line of work.
Guarding an informant.
Oh, they're not dead. Is that... Wait, you say guarding an informant?
Yes. We found more than we were looking for and procured a individual who had teamed up with a guard.
Really? That is interesting.
I mean, corruption among the guard isn't entirely unexpected in a city of this size.
No, it's not. But it's always interesting when you find that there's a rat hiding amongst the cream.
I don't know if I've ever heard that saying before.
Isn't that a human saying?
I don't know, it doesn't sound right. But
As the
I'll take
only
it.
human in the room, I have no idea.
Well,
but yeah,
color me
it's-
flabbergasted. I thought that was a regular saying.
It is now.
Yeah, we can all try to work it into our
Vernacular.
yeah, that big word.
Nods in ascension. Oh, alright, well. But you say you've got him hidden somewhere?
At the
Guarding
waypoint,
him?
actually.
Where is he?
At the waypoint?
You left him at the waypoint?
With guards.
Okay. So,
And we found all this.
that.
We found all the stuff. Did we tell you that we found?
oh, and you found the stuff. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
The thing we were supposed to do, we did that. It's cave. It's a cave.
Well, that's good.
The map.
Yeah.
I think the elf has the map.
Well,
Glinfir.
Gesundheit.
So you left the informant and the map
And the elf and the goblin.
at the waypoint.
Yep.
is there a problem?
I just don't want to do a lot of walking. All right.
Darling, you told us to find the goods. You didn't say that we had to bring them back.
No, I'm not gonna argue that. God.
I like you, Cinderscar. I
He
like
hiccups
you
for a
lot.
moment, and a little bit of smoke curls out of his nostrils. Excuse me. Well, I guess I'll have to shut down for the rest of the night. I'll have to see the rest of the clientele out. But I can head out that way. Is that what we were expecting?
Tell him to bring a wagon.
I mean, they're gonna have to get all the goods. They probably would.
Yeah, I'll round up someone else to help me. But in the meantime, I guess tentatively good work.
The
Only
job's
10
done.
Tentatively done. I don't know you actually did anything.
That's true. That's very, very true.
If anything, you came back here and gave me an errand.
Can I sleep here tonight?
You do have an arrow injury, I do believe, and are covered in blood.
Yeah, I've got a room and back.
Oh no, the booth's fine. I don't need a bed. I just, yeah. Good night. I'm gonna put my scarf over my face.
He gets up from the booth. And he walks around, and he pokes you in the shoulder violently, Evan.
Oh! What?
If I come back and anything is missing, I will personally melt your face off.
Kinky. Good night.
He turns and looks at at Taya and Juniper. I have rooms in the back. And if you want, there's booths, whatever. But don't touch any of my drinks. You can help yourself to whatever dry bar foods or whatever, but if any of the booze is gone, I swear.
So we can have drinks, but we can't have booze.
You can have food, but no booze.
Right.
Fair enough.
He turns brusquely and starts gathering up some things from behind the bar top before storming off. And he says, "And don't let anyone else in." And then he slams the door behind him, and you hear it locking on the way out. I'd like to quickly cut to our two friends at the waypoint.
Okay.
Scene shift.
Just that nice screen transition of a wave.
Yes. And scene wipe. The two of you are hanging out at the lean-to. You have a bound and gagged orc, half-orc, strung up. I know we did some stealth rolls. I would like the two of you to make a quick perception roll for me.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah. Cool. It don't matter much. It's late at this point. Your companions have taken off, and it's been a couple hours since you've been left here, and as you're sitting and hanging out, you hear the sound of chainmail and armor coming down the road. Quite a ways. I mean, you're kind of sitting doing not much else other than watching this half-orc, but you hear someone coming. Sounds like a good pace down the road. You can also hear the faint sound of people talking.
Is the half-orc conscious?
Oh yeah.
Shit.
The lean-to was out of view from the road, wasn't it?
It was about 15 to 20 feet from the road facing it.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Decisions. I want to try and knock out our half-orc friend so he's quiet.
Okay. Yeah,
This is not going to go well.
you totally...
Guess just pommel strike his temple, non-lethal, just to...
Yeah, give him a
Make him
quick
unconscious.
tap. He is struggling a little bit since apparently he also hears the sound coming from down the road as well. Just make a quick attack roll with advantage, since he is
Okay.
bound after all.
So do like an unarmed strike, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes!
That is a well-timed crit.
Praise be the dice gods.
You give him a side strike with the pommel of your sword, and he is just completely out cold. He slumps in his place with his arms bound up above his head, and he is just dead weight right now.
Just flop him onto his side and cover him up so he just looks like a lump on the floor.
Yeah, I guess we do that. So cut him down so he's no longer hanging, and like throw a blanket over him.
Okay.
I have a bad feeling about this.
If nothing else, we just kick out of support of the lean-to, and the lean-to falls forward and just covers him.
Yeah, but we're in the lean-to.
Make a deception roll.
Okay.
You have assistance since Rexit, or advantage since Rexit's helping, but not really doing.
Yeah, the two of you are going at it pretty quickly, so roll with advantage.
Okay. An 18. Cool.
Cool. All right. You cover him up with a blanket. Anything else you would like to describe as you disguise your prisoner?
Trying to prop him semi-nonchalantly up like he's actually asleep and not knocked unconscious. Blanket covering the armor and binds. I guess we'd have to ungag him now, so not as suspicious. And then I'd go back to my hiding spot in the corner. Just lean to. And wait and see what happens.
Yep, that sounds reasonable to me.
Okay. You go back to hiding, and the sound becomes louder and louder as it makes its way down the road. Eventually, you see a small phalanx of guards, just a handful of them on foot, and one of them wearing heavy mail, riding astride a horse. The lot of them are carrying torches and just kind of keeping a wary eye as they pass down the road.
Smell like skunk.
As they approach, you do notice a distinctly skunk-like smell coming from them. You don't really understand where the smell's coming from, but man, they reek. And eventually, as they pass by the lean-to, you see them kind of stop for a little bit. They examine the area. They take the torches and they kind of shine it in to the lean-to, and the guard captain sees the half-orc covered to look like a sleeping traveler in the back corner, and he just says, it's just a sleeping traveler, apparently. All right, well, nothing to really worry about here. And you hear him mutter, what an ugly fella. And they turn and they just keep walking down the road. Don't really seem to make much of an issue with him. And after some minutes of hearing their armor rattling and the sound of the metal scraping, it fades off into the woods, and the torchlight vanishes as they continue along their patrol.
Hoo-hoo. Out of character sigh of relief. That was too damn close. Anyway.
Rexit appears from his hiding spot and gives you a high five and then disappears back into the shadows.
A quiet high five. Very silent high five for not making loud noise.
Cat pictures. There's a cat right here.
Yeah, exactly, an air five.
As you wait, eventually your captive starts to stir again.
I
Kind
go and re-gag him.
and grunting. Before he wakes up, you gag him again. And you just took off the gag. You didn't unbind him?
I just took off the gag. I did not unbind him.
Gotcha.
So
Cool.
I gambled there.
Awesome. And he wakes up and he starts to grunt and looks like he's trying to gesture at you as he comes to and sees you again. But of course, he's unable to do anything.
When he's like grunting and gesturing at me, I hold up a dart, spin it in my fingers, and just make a silent gesture.
His face scrunches up, and you can hear him release a sigh from behind the gag, and he just kind of slumps back down. Eventually, as you're kind of hanging out in the lean-to there, you hear the sound of a cart and some more voices moving down the road.
Reposition to take a look at him and keep hidden.
Yeah, I stare at the half-orc, and I just, like, mime again quiet, and I go back to staring out of the lean-to, waiting.
The cart eventually rounds a corner in the road through the trees, and you see the familiar sight in the distance. It's probably like 50 or 60 feet away at this point, of you see the familiar shape of Cinderscard and a couple of other cloaked figures as well. But he seems to be leading a small group of people with a cart down the road.
Do we have like an audio thieves can't, like make owl noises in thieves can't?
Yeah, it's like the Ebonclad is their way to signal we're here without being too obvious.
Maybe not necessarily an Ebonclad, but you can certainly try and signal in some fashion.
Okay.
And just how would you like to try and get their attention?
I mean, we could always go for the age-old hooting owl, but I mean, I don't know how that's gonna work. Probably should have discussed this beforehand.
I mean, you're the wood elf, by all means.
I am the wood elf, so okay, I will try my best before I roll in that one to imitate an owl. Probably roll in that one and fail at it.
If nothing else, Rexit's gonna pull out the skinned possum and just go like do 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 and have it like dance in a bush.
Okay, well let's do the owl first.
Roll for me roll a performance.
Oh, cool, another -1. Cool. So a very strangled, choking on a mouse owl call right now.
That is a beautiful extra sound effect.
you try and pretend to be a great horned owl or something, but you just sound like you're someone standing in the back going, who?
We're gonna be survival. I know what owls sound like.
Cinderscard just kind of
God.
starts laughing as he's coming around the corner, and he's just like, Is that supposed to be an owl? You gotta be kidding me.
It's late, and a guard patrol just passed by, so I'm a little on edge.
And Rexit will ease the tension by pulling out the possum puppet and just be like, you wouldn't have liked Plan B.
He shakes his head. He looks at the half-orc and the lean-to, says, "This our guy?"
Yes, this is the supposed leader of the bandit group that got your caravan.
Mm.
And I
All right.
I give him the map for where this stuff is located. I don't know if our friends already told you the name of the guard, but his name is Kraglin, and their usual meeting place is at the Half Pint Rose.
Half Pint Rose. Oh, well, that's right in our neck of the woods, huh? We'll have to arrange a visit at some point with good old Kraglin. But in the meantime,
this fella doesn't have a very high pain threshold, so you shouldn't have that big of an issue getting more information from him.
Good night.
he has a large, toothy grin when you say that. Ooh, excellent. I suppose we can take him back to the camp and see what else we can get from him. He motions.
Probably reinforce it. He probably has a nasty black eye from that crit you just gave him.
Nasty black eye, a couple somewhat red inflamed looking puncture marks on his hands since it was not sterile at all.
You guys did pretty good. I'm actually kind of surprised. Was half expecting to find nothing here, but that works out. Your friends are back at the Dragon, but I told them not to let anyone in.
It's all good. We can rest here for the night, then head over there in the morning.
Perfect. We'll go ahead and work to tie up these loose ends. And he walks into the lean-to, gives a nice smirk at the half-orc, grabs the bindings and hauls him up, and starts to pull him.
Tie up the loose ends.
And he and the other two figures pulling the cart with them start heading off in the direction that your map shows.
Also, in character, Glinfir would have told them how to find the cave. That just escaped my mind right now.
I mean, the cave is a comfier spot to camp at this point.
Yeah, but it's also another 1 hour hike. We could just relax here and be closer to our final destination in the morning.
He grunts as you tell him about the cave, and he just kind of heads off.
Oh, and also Glinfir would have been very proud sounding in describing how well they hit it, because he thought he did an amazing job.
Well, let's just tag along. Like, Rexit will grab Glenfir's jacket and just tug him with the Red Dragonborn. Well, we're gonna walk back to the cave.
that's up to him if he wants us to come with or not.
He sees you making to follow behind him, and he says, I appreciate the enthusiasm. Was it, Reki? Reki? Was it Reki?
Rexit, but close enough.
But, we'll clean up from here. You guys just meet me back at the Dragon tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Can do.
And they just kind of wander off into the woods. You hear him kind of jibing and taunting the half-orc a little bit as he kind of prods him along into down the wooded path. Is there anything you two would like to do at the lean-to before the night passes?
Considering the guards will probably make another loop back to us, I would sleep outside of the lean-to, a little bit further away from the road so they couldn't see me, since, it'd be a little bit curious to have a traveler passed out when they pass by, like, completely out of it and gone when they come back. I don't know, it'd be close enough for them to question me.
Yeah, Rexit wouldn't sleep in the lean-to. He'd set up his, sleeping bag in a tree or somewhere nearby, but not in line of sight.
Okay. So you do. There's absolutely no problem with that. You hear at least one more guard patrol go through during the night, but they don't linger. They don't notice anything on their way through. And the rest of the evening goes by without any real incident. What time would you be getting ready to make for the city in the morning?
Well, I am an elf, so I'd only be semi-asleep for 4 hours.
Yep.
And you said it was midnight or later, so 4 or 5 o'clock would be reasonable. Rexit wouldn't be happy to be up at 6 a.m., but
I mean, Glinfir wouldn't wake you. Once I woke back up from my trance, I would just go over my gear and equipment, clean, hone, sharpen, make sure everything's nice and orderly, and wait.
So how much sleep does Rexit need?
well, I mean, for a full night's rest, he needs 8 hours. But I mean, he'll be a grumbly goblin and be fine with 6.
Okay. You get your rest. And you guys can depart from there. I'm going to cut back to the other group real quick. So, was there anything you guys were going to do the rest of the evening at the Dragon, or are we good?
I'm unconscious in a booth.
I was gonna say, is Evan passed out on his table?
Time to draw faces on him.
I have my scarf over my head, so you can't see my face, and I am asleep.
He's an interesting one, isn't he?
I'm just gonna mutter and say random things here, see if anyone reacts.
You're muted.
That's what I was hoping for.
Sorry about that. So after he said, "Don't touch the booze,"
That was really weird timing.
kind of tempted to switch which alcohol is in which bottle. Probably a horrible idea, but
Taya would probably do it anyway.
I'm gonna see this happening, and I'm gonna just. That looks like fun, and I'm gonna help.
I have like one bottle like held up with my tail and like two other ones here, and I'm like if I could find like glasses, like I'm pouring one out, pouring one into another bottle, and setting it aside, and
We
just
did
like
so well up until now.
it's only like a couple or a few bottles that I switch up.
You don't know if you're doing the really expensive ones or not.
I sure don't.
Goodness gracious. Make a dex check.
Both of us or her with
That
advantage?
should be.
Anyone who's doing it.
Dex or
I-
sleight of hand or.
Dex.
At least Glinfir and Rexit are safe from the mess that unfolds from this mess.
He told me not to touch something, so I had to touch.
You are. Taya is flipping those bottles around, pouring them out, filling them back up. It's making a big show of it.
The tail probably helps.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the tail is. Yeah, just.
I'm like trying to keep up, and then I like look and I like get distracted by like the tail and like flipping bottles, and I like spill a little bit.
You get a
Okay, I
couple
feel
done.
better now.
You're not as fast as her, but you get a couple done. With minimal spillage.
Like I wasted the alcohol. It's all still here. It's just mixed up. So. And after that, so after that, are you ready to go to sleep? Because I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it's been a day.
It's been a really long day.
Yeah, no kidding.
Are we sleeping on the table or are we going to the room? I'd kind of feel bad leaving up in here alone.
I'm sure he's fine. The door's locked. It's the middle of the night.
That was all the convincing I needed.
Okay.
We walk into the
Um,
room and go to sleep.
And you guys do that. There's enough space for all of you to sleep comfortably. The two of you, Glinfir and Rexit, make a nice easy trek back into the city. You don't have any issue getting in the morning since, it's the morning. It's not the wee hours of the night. And you do eventually land your way back at the Drag Inn a couple hours after getting up. You try and open the door, but it's locked.
Okay. I'm going to wait outside of the inn since Cinderscard said that he told them not to let anyone in.
Yeah, well, likewise, just find a chair on the porch or get distracted and end up in a trash can nearby.
The rest of you hear the sound of someone trying to come in for a moment, and then seemingly walk away.
Go puke in a trash can. Or a bucket. Or a corner. Something.
At least I know I didn't get inside, so I'm not in that trash can.
Eventually, Cinderscard returns. It's probably a good hour after you guys arrive at the establishment and have been sitting and waiting. It's already like mid-morning, but he sees the two of you sitting there, and he says, "Oh, so they actually listened. They didn't let you in. Great."
I give a small smile when he says that. Don't respond.
That's strange.
He pulls out the key and unlocks the door and pushes his way inside.
Cat.
And you see him kind of relax a little bit as he passes through the threshold. Oh, good.
Speaking to
Nothing's on fire. Nothing's destroyed. And
cat.
he kind of looks around. Doesn't look like anything's out of place. All right. He turns around and says, well, breakfast is on me. And he starts walking into the back behind the bar.
Woo.
He calls in, the rest of you, where are you? I hear myself.
I am sitting at the bar, just sitting, staring at nothing because I can't see, but like vacantly looking in one direction.
So, like normal.
So like normal, yeah.
He puts an elbow on the bar top and kind of leans in closer to you. You look like garbage, kid.
I always look like garbage.
Yeah, I noticed that yesterday, but I didn't want to say anything.
Except when I don't look like garbage. Then I look great. But this is not that type of job.
Where are the rest of you?
I was gonna say, I come in just as I'm hearing the conversation, and I say, you're very handsome for garbage. So, I mean...
Can Cinder Scarred see the rooms from his perspective?
No.
Okay. I will come out shortly after. I heard breakfast.
Yes. Yeah. Working on breakfast. I don't think the help's here yet. Where are those lazy slugs? He goes back into the kitchen. You hear him start pulling pans and pots and stuff, just banging around.
Do you need help back there?
No, it'll just be a minute. Give me a sec. Gotta find the sound of, like, glassware shattering. And he just is going about making something in the back there, leaving you all to yourselves as a big happy family.
Every time there's like a glass shatter noise, Evan flinches from the headache and the hangover.
I want to stealthily sneak up behind Evan. I'll roll stealth for that. Oh, shitty roll.
Roll perception.
Go for it.
No, you totally hear me.
You got like some sort of weird hangover power?
And unless you say anything, I'm gonna keep like going to right behind you.
I don't say a word.
And I clap really loudly right next to your head. And I say in a quiet voice, rise and shine, and walk away.
Next time, we have to camp. Don't sleep. That's all. Wait, did someone say I was handsome? Is that a thing I heard?
Yeah, that was me.
Thank you. I guess. That's actually. Yeah, no, I know. I am aware.
Do you need to go back to sleep, dear?
No, we're good.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Well, if you'd like to sleep in a bed, the one that Taya and I slept in was very comfortable.
It was.
Okay, that's... Okay. Let me put my head down on the bar.
Cinderscard comes out with a bunch of burnt toast and some hastily cut fruit that's in complete shambles. He tosses it onto the bar top. Breakfast's on, kids.
Okay.
What do you want? What do you want to drink?
If you have any hard cider, that would be great.
Yeah. Rexit points at Glinfir and agrees.
He reaches under the bar and pulls out one of the bottles that was switched last night and starts pouring it out into a glass, and then another one. He stops.
Flask. Fill flask.
He looks at the liquid that he poured out and says, "This doesn't look like..." He leans in and sniffs it. "This doesn't smell like..." His eyes narrow, and he stops and turns at the three of you. "What did you do?"
What do you
I have
mean?
No idea what you're talking about. Can I have liquor, please? Flask.
This isn't cider at all. He puts it down on the counter. "Which one did you put it in? And why did you do it?"
I want to take that cup that he just put down, and I'm gonna fill my own glass because he's ignoring me.
You can't have a hangover if you're still drunk.
I'm gonna like give Cinderscar like puzzled look, like, is something the matter, dear?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, fine. He starts rummaging back through till he finds a new bottle of cider, and he pours out two of them and passes them to Glinfir and Rexit. "And the other of you get water." And he goes into the back, and you hear him scooping water out of something. And he brings two full cups and puts them on the bar top. "There you go. That's what you get. Breakfast and something to drink."
You're too kind.
Question the sanitariness of that water, but I'm gonna keep drinking my cider and eat the toast and fruit.
Yeah, Rexit's just gonna smear some of the smashed up fruit onto his toast and just eat it.
Not that this isn't lovely, but do you pay us? Do you give us like a receipt and we go somewhere else and get paid? How does money work?
Right, yeah, money. Gotcha. He leans down under the bar, pulls out a cup of his own, pours something into it, looks like some red wine, takes a sip, and then he proceeds to reach into his pocket, and he pulls out a little coin purse and drops it onto the countertop. And he says, you kids did good. Worked a little slower than I would have liked, but you found what we were looking for. I've got some tallymen working out what was in those boxes, and hopefully we'll find that nothing's missing. But your payment's in there. Split 5 ways. It might get you somewhere. There's 20 gold for each of you in there.
That's it? 20?
Yep.
We are level 1. Embrace the money.
Still almost double what I already had, so...
That's like nothing compared to what I have.
Of course, I'm just glad you kids came back in one piece. He looks at Taya, more or less. But I'll have a job for you probably soon. Just keep your ears open. I'll call you if I need you.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Sounds
You've
good.
been a doll.
I think we will call it here.
If nothing else, the extra contents in the cave will make up for anything that might be lost from the initial shipment.
We have no idea what the initial shipment was, so I'd hold your excitement there.
Well, I mean, Bill pointed out like probably like a third of the cave's contents, but there was still more stuff.
But we didn't steal anything, which is probably what he was implying. So, yay! Sparkle fingers.
And Rexit still has a rapier that can stab around corners.
Alright, we're gonna call it here. Thank you very much for coming out, folks.
Bye!
Thanks for watching.
Good night.